Hey, welcome to ASBO Test Kitchen, episode 2. We are in beautiful Dearborn Heights, Michigan at Jeff's Pickle Factory. We're about to make some pickles.
This one's a bush pickle. I like the wrinkly, bumpy ones myself. This one's just smaller. This one grew more. And then we're going to get a couple peppers as well. These are peppers of an undetermined variety, but they're spicy, and you can make pickles out of them. It's hot. It really is hot. Just for an added garnish, I like to throw in some sorts of edible flowers. These are honeysuckle, and honeysuckle look beautiful.
We've got cucumbers of different sizes. I believe we've got different varieties. It doesn't really matter what type of cucumbers you use or what size they are. You just want to maybe peek inside one of them and make sure the little bit around the seeds isn't totally liquid yet. We've got some peppers of different varieties. We've got some edible flowers. We've got grape leaves. We've got some chives. We've got some onion. We've got the deadly poisonous alum, which we will not be using. Pepper, coriander, mustard seed, dillweed, sugar, apple cider vinegar, rice wine vinegar. All right, the prep for the cucumbers is really super easy. You're gonna cut off the blossom end, which is the opposite side of where you picked it from. So this is the end that was attached to the vine, and this is the blossom end that you would want to cut off. And that's where all those bad enzymes that make your pickles too soft comes from. You avoid that entirely. Just very simply cut that off, and then we're going to quarter the cucumber.
Next, we are going to have to peel some garlic. What you want to do is just peel off the skin. I prefer to just squish them. And that'll release all the flavors, and you just throw that in there just like that.
We're just gonna slice the onions real thin. Just slicing them thin. Chive preparation, nothing could be easier. Just try and cut them into little bits that are shorter than the height of your jar.
Next, we're going to chop up some peppers. I want to remove all the seeds. And this is the habaneros.
I'm telling you, those are not habanero peppers.
They're not?
I do not believe so. I think habaneros are small and usually yellow. I'm sure it's just a Google search away.
It was one of the ones with the H.
So if you want a spicier pickle, if you're using hot peppers, include the seeds or some of the seeds, and if you want a milder, yet somewhat spicy pickle, remove the seeds. The prep for the grape leaves is really easy. You just make sure you get the stem mostly out. You don't have to get too close. You don't have to be too picky.
Next, we're going to be packing the jars with the cucumbers.
A couple leaves in.
Those are going to go at the bottom.
Get some cucumbers in there.
And you definitely want to throw a little bit of garlic in there. Don't forget the onions.
I know. I like doing my onions last. Onions on top is so fancy when you open the jar.
You need a little bit of headroom on the top, 1/4 inch of the jar. That's about how much you want left over.
I'm in favor of maintaining the 1:1:1 ratio where you got 1 part water, 1 part apple cider vinegar, and then 1 part rice vinegar.
Now we need to add all of our goofy spices in here. Dillweed definitely needs to go in there. Kind of just wing it.
I would do double that.
All right. Get a lot.
But then you just don't have any pepper in your home anymore.
Right? Mustard. Mmm, spicy. Don't forget the pickling salt. About a 1/2 cup. I'm not a big fan of super sugary pickles, so we're gonna do about the same for right now with this, and then we're gonna bring this just to a little bit of a simmer. Yeah, you want to keep this moving around so you don't get the sugar or salt to burn to the bottom. Let's Suppose it could use a little more salt.
Oh, I definitely think you could add more salt. As long as it's not like extremely offensive, as long as there's not some flavor that's like triggers your caveman brain to think that it's poison, I think it's good. I mean, you're looking for just like ridiculously high salt content and then still very high acid content.
I'm just doubling everything now because I haven't tasted too much of it in there yet. This should be about ready to go. Wow. I think a lot of that evaporated off while we were boiling it.
Right now we're just setting the lids on top. The heat from the boiling brine will kind of create suction and suck the lids onto the jars. So we're just waiting for these to cool down to about room temperature. Then we're gonna tighten all the lids down, then throw them in the fridge. We're only doing that so you don't make the temperature in your fridge spike, which isn't gonna be good for any of the other foods you may be storing. Just if you get any of the fur growing on top or any mold, definitely pitch the entire jar. It doesn't matter if you're pickling cucumbers. Pickled apples are actually wonderful, and pears. You can use any produce, any herbs and spices. Just put a bunch of vinegar and salt in and a little bit of water, and you got pickled absolutely anything. Well, they smell good so far. You get the rice vinegar smell. Flavor-wise, these are fucking top-notch. Lots of things happening.
It's like, and the flavor keeps changing. And it's spicy. I'm like, I know it's kind of hot out, but I feel like I'm sweating. But it's not that spicy to make you sweat. There's definitely some interesting pickles in there.